Hey, I'm Gareth from Park Cameras, and today we're in London with David Noton. David, what are we going to be doing today?
So we're going to be using the last of the day's sunlight down by the river to do some shots looking across here to St Paul's, and then later, as it gets dark and the lights come on in the city, we're going to investigate photographic possibilities using the low light capabilities of the Canon EOS R.
Oh great, I think we've got some RF lenses as well
exactly.
to play around with, so we should be able to get some good stuff. Let's go.
So we're here on the Millennium Bridge with St Paul's Cathedral behind me, the sun setting to the southwest. I'm thinking the best shot I've got in mind is from the opposite bank here, the southern bank of the river, looking back towards St Paul's with the very last light on the cathedral. These kind of pictures, they're always made by just one person being in the right place in the frame at the right time. I never know who that person will be until they walk into the frame, but it's all good fun. I did a shoot here, way back, probably about 15 years ago, with just one businessman on the bridge walking to work at dawn. It was a picture that worked quite well. Quite tricky exposure-wise here, because the foreground here is in shadow and the cathedral beyond is catching the last of the light, but the amount of detail I can pull out of the shadows on raw files from this EOS R is really quite incredible, so I'm reasonably confident that I can bring that shadow detail out. So Gareth, can you see here the wonderful lines of the bridge leading into the frame there, and St Paul's glowing in the last of the sunlight. We're going to get the reflections on the water as well, and what I want to do is shoot in a kind of handheld reportage type style to use figures in my foreground as well. I tend to work in exposure aperture priority most of the time. I just find it the best way to work. Aperture is usually my first consideration. I'm always thinking about what depth of field I want. So in this particular case, I'm shooting at f8 with a focal length of 20mm. That gives me plenty of depth of field. And I'm up to ISO 400 now. I'll keep an eye on that. I used to shoot cities with big tripods, big cameras, lugging huge great camera bags around in and off the underground. It was a real pain in the neck. Plus these days you get so much hassle whenever you try and set up a tripod somewhere like here in London. So working this way is quite fun. Lightweight, working fast. And making the most of people walking in and out of the frame. It's brought a different kind of feel to my work, a more reportage-y type feel, which has been a good thing. I'm enjoying it. We just wait. Perseverance usually pays off. Just go to the Q screen. Just check I've got a high speed drive mode here. 8 frames per second I can get now. So what I'm hoping for is one figure here in the frame, other figures up on the bridge there above. When you've got a good idea for a picture, it's always worth sticking with it. Try and make it the best you possibly can. Don't start faffing around trying to make 10 different pictures. Just concentrate on that one picture, because this light isn't going to last long. So the light on St Paul's is just starting to, well, there's still a glow to it, so it's still game on. But from this one session here this evening, I'm only looking for one picture. There will be one that's better than all the rest. I don't want to come away with 10, 20, 100 pictures. It's all going to boil down to just that one shot. So I think that was quite fun, that shoot. I think the next step now is to move along to London Bridge and be in position ready for when the lights start coming on in the city over there. Lights are just starting to come along here, come on along the river now, so our moment approacheth. So it's 5:40, the sun's gone down and rush hour is in full swing. This is London Bridge, which at this time of the day is an absolute river of humanity, with people walking from the city going over to London Bridge. What I want to do is do pictures using this river of humanity with the city skyline behind. Okay, we got some good separation on the shard now, and the light's coming good. It's looking really nice, actually. So it's another of those situations where I'm just waiting for just the right person in my frame. I don't know who that person is, but so the shard gives a lovely, strong, graphic shape to the picture, especially now with the lights coming on. So that's the essence of the picture, the figures of the people and the shard, nothing else. So I'm using a 24-70 f2 RF lens here, which is a beautiful lens, incredibly sharp, but also the fast f2 aperture is really useful in these low light situations. So I'm pretty pleased with what we've been getting there. Some interesting stuff, some great shapes. I'm really aware also that I'm using the lens at its widest focal length because I want the camera to be dead level. Yeah. If I start angling it up, the buildings look as if they're falling over backwards. Sometimes you can get away with it, but I think often it looks really unsettling. So that's something I'm very aware of. So what I think we'll do now is go back over that side and try some shots looking this way. How's that? Yeah. So I was just doing some shots using the reflective qualities of this steel barrier here, reflecting the lights quite nicely. Okay, let's try something looking this way. So I'm right up to ISO 6400 now, at an aperture of f5.6. Still shooting handheld, it's wonderful. It's like a liberation, you know? There's some great reflections off the water, reflections off here. This is the prime time when the light's coming on in the city and the ambient light left in the sky match evenly. It's the best time for night photography. So I need depth of field for this picture, but I'm at 24mm, so at f5.6 I've got just enough depth of field to hold my foreground and the background there. So it's been good fun shooting here in London as the sun goes down. I think essentially there's two pictures that will come out of this session. Obviously I've shot, I don't know, a few hundred frames, but I think it's really going to come down to two pictures here. But good locations, good shapes, good motion, good human interest, and it's great fun working handheld using the high ISO capabilities of the EOS R.